Go ahead, Chelsea.
Okay. All right. So, as I like to say with these things, as long as everything is working the way that it should be working, we are now live. So, hello and welcome to everyone who is watching the Written Melanin channel. If you've never seen me before, my name is Chelsea and I write books about black girls who aren't all that nice. And I'm here with the one, the amazing, the wonderful, the incomparable Audra Russell. And we are here to bring some melanin to your pages. And I am late as I'll get out today, but you guys are going to be so proud of me because I fed myself this morning. Look at that.
Right. And that's important.
That.
That's important.
I'm not out here starving myself.
That's a good thing. Okay. We are both here on full tummies today.
Yes, we are. Because you know what she did, you guys? You know what she did? She listened to me for the first time in a very long time. And she made some overnight oats the way that I make them. And you know what they were? Good. Yep.
They were really good.
I know they were. I know they were.
My husband was like, because I warmed them up just a little bit because I don't like them cold. And my husband was like, what smells so good? I was like, my rolled oats. He was like, I want some. I was like, you have to go to work. Aren't you on site today? Get out the door, please. Leave me alone with my rolled oats. So now he's like, well, you got to make me some tomorrow. I was like, oh.
She's like, you tried. You tried.
You tried. Didn't work though.
Okay, I don't know why my chat is acting funny, you guys, so I can barely see it. Maybe it's because, yep, that's it. Okay. Anywho, shout out to everyone in the, huh?
I said she's all right, y'all.
Am I? I feel a little unhinged, but that's okay.
No, you're fine. You haven't had caffeine today, have you?
I'm drinking it now.
Okay.
I got matcha.
She about to get progressively more intense as this day goes on.
We got a lot to do today.
You have a recipe request from Read, Love, Listen for them. So
you know what?
Put it in.
I would drop
chat for her.
I would drop the exact same thing that I sent to Audra in the after chat because, okay, look, we're going to talk about this and then we're going to get to the books for today because we got things to cover. So, first of all, let me tell you about my journey about these rolled oats, why I do this, right? Because I was on TikTok because, obviously that's what every millennial girl does, right? In 2023, when you need a recipe, you go to TikTok because the way I do not have the attention span to be watching these 30-minute videos that people be making about, oh my God, let's meal prep together. Bruh, I just need to know how to make rolled oats. If it takes you 30 minutes, I'm not going to eat it anyway. Okay. So I was just like, let me go to the tick of the talk and figure out how to do this. And so I watched a couple of videos and I was like, ooh, these girlies are doing a lot. What? And I'm like, it's oatmeal, right? This is oatmeal. Okay. I'm like, I'm not stupid. Like, it does not take all of this to make some freaking oatmeal in a cup. Like, it doesn't. And so I watched a couple of them.
If you have steel oats, it's going to. That's why I didn't want to use steel oats.
I mean, I've had steel oats before. The only thing with steel oats is that you have to cook them longer. They're not instant. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, okay, well, that's not too bad. Like, I can manage this. I can do this. Anywho, if you want to make your overnight oats and you want to make them quick like a normal person, all right, you're going to get a half cup of oats and you're going to get a half cup of milk, 1-to-1. I don't know who likes soupy oatmeal, but them girlies who be talking about you're going to get a half cup of oats and you're going to get 2/3 cup milk. No, absolutely not. You're going to be drinking your oatmeal and that's disgusting. Just trust me. 1-to-1 recipe, half and half. And then just like y'all made oatmeal before, right? So little honey, agave, sugar, whatever you like to make it sweet, some cinnamon, stir it up, pop it in the fridge. There you go. That's the whole recipe. Also, if you
leave it in overnight, and then I just warmed mine up for it ended up being like a minute. But just, time it. Start with 30 seconds and see how it is. And then.
Yeah. We do 45 seconds for our microwave because my wonderful, amazing husband, who I love so much, decided to put it in there for 2 minutes and came back to an exploded mess in the microwave. And it was very much one of those moments where I was like, oh, I'm glad that I didn't make this mess because then I don't have to clean it up.
Said you wasn't gonna help him out, huh?
No. The way I don't like cleaning at all, even when I do mess up, I was really glad I didn't have to clean that up. But
Yeah, it was really good. I loved it.
yeah, so this morning, the reason we are kind of late is because I made a breakfast burrito and it was really good. I'm mad that I didn't get to finish it, honestly, because it had chicken in it, had rice, it had some roasted cabbage, some red onion, it had some scrambled eggs, some mozzarella cheese, some bell peppers. I made a barbecue sauce to go with it. It was good. It was good.
Yum.
Anyway, we've been talking about food, and that is not what y'all came here to talk about. So, shout out to everyone who is here this morning. La, Jay, Reetlove, Listen, Bianca, Ash, Joanne. Hello, welcome. Hope you guys are having a wonderful morning. If you haven't already, go ahead and tap the like button on the stream because it does not hurt you and it helps us. So, you're already here. Might as well, right? Also, there is a Q&A going on. So if you guys have questions for us that you want us to talk about today, drop your questions in there. And then now I'm going to let Audra talk because it's her turn.
He always does this show.
All right. Spotlight time. Go.
Don't start. These were sent to me as a gift.
I know, and I'm jealous. I knew her first, and I ain't getting no free books. That's all I'm saying.
and mine is signed.
Jealous.
I actually have two because she ended up sending me two. This one's signed, the other one isn't. And she was also the guest last week. The episode is up and out today, and the cover art that I did is amazing. So definitely go check it out on YouTube. And I did cosplay for this episode. I had my apron on and the glasses, and I had the little headband on, and I even put the little Japanese markings on it. It's cute. It was cute. It was cute. All right, so
I'm not jealous.
Listen. This is no revenge story. I ain't got time for that. I've got errands to run and things to do and barely enough time to make it home before sundown. I don't care why folks are going around stealing ink. I don't care why the monks are acting kind of strange. I don't care that everybody is expecting me to save them. I might be a sister samurai, but those days playing hero were back when my knees didn't ache and I wasn't the only one left. So leave me alone. All I want to do is get home, drink some green tea lemonade, and enjoy my peace. I'm not asking for much, so why are all these demons daring to get in my way? I am not the one. Not today. And when I tell y'all this book was everything, there were sister samurais, there were brother monks, there was an afro pick that swelled to like 20 times the size, killing demons. There was an ashy demon that got tamed with cocoa butter.
Y'all, I have read the short story as well. I need y'all to go read it expeditiously.
No, Ben, I did not have a katana. I mean, where would there be room for a katana in here anyway? I'd end up hurting myself. Okay. Although I will say my husband does have a katana. I just realized that. I'm actually looking at it sitting over there in the corner. So I could have, but I mean, how would I? There's no room in here. I'd hurt myself. So.
Okay.
My husband had the katana. Mm-hmm.
Before I share this link, because I did the Googling thing, is the Sister Samurai link not public yet for a reason?
What's the Samurai link?
Your video, the interview, isn't public on YouTube yet. It's unlisted.
Well, let me just go fix that right now.
Okay, well,
I forgot to publish it. I forgot to publish it while I was I was doing everything because I always, when I list it, I always have it
unlisted first.
I have it unlisted until everything is up, and then I do it. So
gotcha.
Let me go.
Also, while she's doing that, shout out to Uzumaki and Vina and Montrez who came in. So, hello, welcome. Hope you guys are doing fantastic today. Also, I'm going to let you guys know that I did pre-order Sister Samurai. So mine comes December 1st because I got the hardback because the way I was like, I need this to sit up on my shelf so I can look at it and be inspired all the time. Yes. Also, if you guys are interested in the interview, I did drop the YouTube video where Audra and Tatiana are talking about Sister Samurai, it's now in the description box. So just refresh the page, and in the relevant links down at the very, very bottom, you will find the interview. So,
Okay, it's up.
And it's public now. So,
Mhm.
awesome. That being said, you guys, what?
I said there was something I forgot to do.
You're welcome.
well.
Look at me remembering other people's stuff and not remembering my own. How does that work? It's not even fair. It's not even fair, but whatever. Whatever.
Ah.
All right, so my book for this week is The Striver's Row Spy by Jason Overstreet. And I would like to be like Audra and be like, yes, I have this very deep-seated relationship with this book. And I don't. I woke up yesterday and I was scrolling Libby and I was looking at the Reformatory because your girl was on it and she got it on audiobook the day it came out. And I was like, let's go. But then, you know how like Libby has those other related books or whatever, and this one came up and I was like, I don't even know how these are related, but okay. But apparently this is a historical suspense thriller, and I read the sample because y'all know I'm not even a reading girly like that, and I was like, oh, this looks interesting. Anyway, this is a duology. There are 2 books in the series. It's called the Renaissance series, I believe. Don't get me to line, but it's something like that. And the description for the book reads, for college graduate Sidney Temple, the Roaring Twenties bring opportunities even members of his accomplished black bourgeois family couldn't have imagined. His impulsive marriage to independent artist Loretta is a happiness he never thought he'd find. And when he's tapped by J. Edgar Hoover to be the FBI's first African-American agent, he sees a once-in-a-lifetime chance to secure real justice. Instead of providing evidence against Marcus Garvey, prominent head of the dangerously radical Back to Africa movement, Sidney uses his unexpected knack for deception and undercover work to thwart the Bureau's biased investigation. And by giving renowned leader W. E.B. Du Bois insider information, Sidney gambles on change that could mean a fair destiny for all Americans. But the higher Sidney and Loretta climb in Harlem's most influential and glamorous circles, the more dangerous the stakes. An unexpected friendship and a wrenching personal tragedy threatened to shatter Loretta's innocent trust in her husband and turn his double life into a fast-closing trap. For Sidney, ultimately squeezed between the Bureau and one too many ruthless factions, the price of escape could be heartbreak and betrayal. No amount of skill can help him survive. So,
I clicked the link through your Melanin Library. I'm ordering it.
Ew, look at that, supporting the Melanin Library. It's so fun. Okay.
I
That being said, you guys, I am getting this through my library, and we are going to be on a very long flight on Friday. So I would probably maybe get into this. I don't know. I'm gonna have time. It's a very long flight, at least long for me. So, yeah, I'm thinking about doing this or I Feed Her to the Beast. One of these 2 books. So
nice.
That being said, you guys already know there are links to both of these books down in the description box below. Get into them and support the Melanin Library where you're at if you get it through one of those links. So, that being said, you guys, for those of you who just came in, reminding you guys about the Q&A that's going on. So if you have things that you want us to talk about, oh, we do need to talk about that. Sorry. Drop it in the Q&A. We do have a couple of questions, but there are things that we want to cover first. I think Jay, what you want to discuss is very high up on the on the list. So, Audra, we got a list of topics to go through, homie.
Yep.
Where do you want to start? Hey, let's go. You know what? I can't commit to reading because if I commit to reading, then I'm going to not read. But I'm going to try to read it. So if you want to go ahead and read it, then we can possibly be reading it together. Not going to make any promises though.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess we could start with Black Cake. I'm watching it. I have not read the book yet, which I've had on my shelf since it came out. Mm-hmm. So at first I was going to say, I'm going to read the book first, but that's not going to happen. So I'm watching Black Cake. I'm waiting for the next episode to come out. It might be out already. I have to check. It is really good. It is really, really good. I like it a lot. So that's that. I can't say have they done a good job versus the book because I haven't read the book yet, but I think this will give me more perspective on the book. So I'll go back and read the book after the series is over, and then I'll see how it compares. But so far, I'm loving it. So.
I kind of want to read the book. So it's on hold at my library, but depending on which comes first, either the season that we get Hulu or the book comes up in Libby. One of the two. Whichever one happens first is the one that I'm going to go with. But I've heard you talking about, I've heard other people mention it too, kind of like in passing on the timeline. So I'm like, maybe I should get into this. I'm thinking about it. But you know how I am with, shows that got real people in it. Yeah.
I know. I note though on books, y'all, I gave away 8 contractor bags full of books.
Wow.
This weekend. 8. And you know how big a contractor bag is?
No.
They are the bags that they use to clean up at construction sites. Big, thick plastic bags. They're probably about as tall as I am.
Why you got that many books, homie?
And you know what the funny thing is? I still don't have room for all my books on my shelf.
Okay, hi. Her name is Audra and she has a problem.
And this is in addition to last year when I was getting ready for the wood stove to be put in. I gave away 4 contractor bags full of books. So that's 12 contractor bags full of books in a year's time, and I still don't have room on all my shelves for all my books.
Well, someone has a problem. Clearly. Well,
I will say, though, that all the books I gave away, I read. So it's not like I had them and didn't read them.
You know what? I can't even say that because I be giving away books that I ain't read and I know I ain't finna to. So it's like, let's go ahead and drop this off at the library and hopefully somebody who will enjoy it will find it because I am not it.
Listen, and Bianca said I have a library. I got a little one. Compared to some people, mine ain't nothing. Like mine ain't nothing. But
raise your hand in the chat if you also could give away 12 contractor bags full of books and still have some. Not enough to on your shelf, but just have some, like one. Because I can tell you right now, I can give away every book I own and every piece of paper, every loose leaf sheet of paper that ain't never been written on, and it's still not going to fill up a contractor bag. It's not happening.
It would fill up the bottom. See, Miss Colory, she says, I try to give away books often because I'm not keeping anything on my shelf I don't plan to read. Yeah, I will take that back. There were maybe about 10 books out of all 8 bags that I didn't read that authors sent to me, saying, will you read this? And I was like, yeah, you can send it to me, but I'm not sure. I can't promise you when I'm going to get to it. And they just didn't seem like books that I was ever going to want to get to, so they went. No, because they were donated by Audra section. Ben is so funny.
No.
My library is very picky about their donations, and I still live in an area that even though it's a lot more black than it was 20 years ago when we moved here, they still, these are black books, so they probably would have been like, oh no, because last time I tried to donate books, they were like, oh well, we don't really have any interest for these, so I just donated them to the
build an interest, bruh.
Right.
What is
so
this?
I just donated them to the Restore, and the thing was, Restore is the store where it's like a Goodwill for Habitat for Humanity. Whenever they do houses and stuff like that, they when they redo houses, they take the stuff out and they put it there, and people can buy it like real cheap. And when I walked back there to hand the book, she was like, "What do you have?" I was like, "Books." She was like, "You're not going to believe this, but I was just praying to God today to bring me some books to put on the shelves to sell because we don't really have a selection of books in our book area." And I was like, well, now you got 8 contractor bags full. Enjoy.
You're welcome. Look at God. He shall open up the windows of heaven and pour ye out a blessing that there shall not be room enough to receive it. Okay? So.
Yep, because she thought I had one bag and I kept going back and my husband was with me. She was like, oh my. I was like, yep, there you go.
There you go. There you go. Careful what you pray for.
Be real careful.
But no, I was tickled when you were like, yeah, they asked if they could send me, and I was like, yeah, sure, come on, and I got it, and I just didn't get around to it. When I tell you I have a lot of books like that, I had to tell people to stop sending me books. I was like, you can send it to me, but I'm not gonna read it. Like that's
save you money.
Save that shipping on me.
Like, or just send me an ebook if you really want to send. Like, don't send me no more physical books because I can't. No.
That being said,
Next topic.
the next topic, we are moving on. So if you'll look to your left, the topic that we're discussing next, I'm dead. Anyway. Okay, so I feel like we have to talk about this lady who got the book deal, talking about the child who is obsessed with her black nanny and then has to decide whether or not she's going to say something when things start to go left. And I'm like, you know what? That whole thing, and if you're not on the internet, on Twitter specifically, like that whole conversation was wild, because I'm just like, there are really people who have the whole audacity to just like ignore an entire group of people and to just like lean into things. But what was really interesting to me was the conversation point where some people were like, well, I have to read it to decide if it's a problem. I'm like, what? Like, we're literally, the whole premise of the book is this little girl is fetishizing her black nanny. First of all, black nanny. And then on top of that, it's very clear that the premise of the book is that something goes left and they blame the nanny and the daughter knows better. But she has to decide if she's going to say something or not. What?
Yeah. Yeah, and like what Miss Woman, like Ravina said, you know, the black people defending this trash. I was like,
Yeah.
all skin folk ain't kinfolk. Some of the worst white supremacists are black people. Let that marinate.
I was just like, this is crazy. And then Jay said that she was the first person to call it out. And I'm just like, you know what? For me, I don't even be paying attention to those announcements, because I'm like, it's very rarely a person, I'll say kinfolk, right? True kinfolk. It's very rarely that. And when it is, it always includes one of my big no-no topics, which is either racial oppression, trauma, harassment, or something like that. It's never just a pure like, okay, it's a story about black people in it that has nothing to do about teaching white people how to not be terrible people. Like, that's just, I'm not into it. That's not my thing. I support people. Like, get your bag. I'm rooting for everybody black. Like, get your bag. If you're decent, you know what? I'm going to amend that. I'm rooting for everybody black if they're decent, right? I'm rooting for all the kinfolk. Not just the skin folk, but all the kinfolk, right? So,
right.
But that being said, it's just like, there are a lot of books out there, but them Mayo sapiens, I don't even be paying attention to their books no more, because I'm like, reality, I'm not finna buy it. I'm not finna read it. I'm not finna add it to my shelf. I'm not even gonna play these games, because I ain't got the funds like that. So unless you're really out here throwing down with your pen, no.
Yeah. But this, you know, this doesn't surprise me, because, you know, then Beverly Jenkins had posted that, reposted somebody else's post that apparently AKK romance is a thing.
I saw that this morning. Okay. So.
Like, what?
Okay, so the way I don't even know the whole context of it. But, okay, y'all know that I follow Neeks. She's been on the channel before. She is she was a booktuber. She's an author now. Her book, The Inevitability of, is out for sure. Go read it, get into it, all that good stuff, right? But as I went to go post about the Melanin Chat today, like, hey you guys, it's Melanin Chat Day. The first post on my timeline was from Neeks, and she screenshotted. I guess she made a video about the Triple K book or whatever, and they were like getting on her because she's like, I'm not gonna read it. They don't people who are like that don't get a redemption arc. I'm not interested in it. Y'all are romanticizing it, and I'm not about it. tell me why people were arguing like, well, you haven't read the book and you don't know anything. And then they started like talking about the way that she talks and talking about she doesn't know what she's talking about. And I'm like, wow, y'all are really jump over the most through the most hoops on fire in the middle of an earthquake to make a point that doesn't make any sense. Like, why, as a Black person, should any of us feel like we should feel responsible for reading a book of fiction that's romanticizing people who kill people who look like us for shits and giggles? That doesn't make any sense. The problem is, you know what it is? I love Avatar, but I feel like now everybody thinks that every bad person should get a redemption arc. And it's like, no, that you missed the entire point of the series, because Zuko was not a bad person to begin with. He had bad parenting, okay? But that's a whole other thing. That was a rabbit hole. To stay to the point. The point is, everybody doesn't get a redemption arc. If you don't want to read it, if you don't need to read it, if you're like, no, the sins that you have committed cannot be forgiven, that's the problem. We live in an era where everybody's like, oh, forgive and forget, move on. How about no? How about, ooh, let me correct myself because this is a family-friendly show. But some people really...
Nope. And people you need to understand what forgiveness is. Forgiveness does not mean forgetting what they did, and forgiveness does not mean allowing those people to remain in your circle. It does not mean that you let them off the hook for what they did. It just means that you let go of your anger towards that particular person. Okay. And honestly, I ain't even there with that yet with these folks. Like, I'm angry with you and I'm not going to let it go.
And see, the thing is, I live firmly in the world that I can be over it and not forgive you, because forgiveness is for you. Whoever said forgiveness is for yourself, bump that. It is not. I can be upset and mad and not forgive you and still move on with my life and not carry it with me. Like, I can leave my anger at the last station, but it's still there, homie. Just because I'm not carrying the baggage doesn't mean it doesn't exist no more. Like, no, I'm not gonna be like, oh, we're cool. And the thing is, even if I do forgive you, that doesn't mean that I'm be like, okay, now let's see what you're about. You know what's really dumb? If you go out and it's somebody is like, literally, you go into somebody's house and they like try to kill you while you're there, and then you get out the house and you're like, you know what? I've healed, right? You know, it'd be real dumb to go back to the freaking house and be like, oh, well, maybe they're nice now. No.
Don't be with that.
Like, I mean, at best, I feel like forgiveness is not burning the house down while you're sleeping in it, right? That's forgiveness for me. That's not, oh, let me go back to your house and try to have dinner with you and reform you as a person.
Nope. Not doing that.
No.
We're not doing that, homie. We're not doing that.
And it's just the idea that people can say with their whole chest that they cannot get behind the idea of Black people not being oppressed and thinking about it every second of every day and being some type of social justice warrior. Like, if the book is not focused on that, they just can't imagine that as reality. But somehow you can imagine some leader of a terrorist group reforming, and that Black people should just be okay with that. Like, oh yeah, you're one of us now. No. Y'all are weird. Stop being weird.
Yeah, they're weird.
Anywho, this is why I like to say on my side of the internet, where the people got melanin and common sense, they usually go together.
Most of the time.
Not always. It's a general rule of thumb. You know, common sense ain't all that common, but, you know, there's more of it floating around. Anyway.
Right. Okay, next topic. We're staying on task today.
Are we? I feel like I'm all over the place, but that's okay.
No, we're not.
All right. Ben had a question, and he was like, what do people want from in-person book events? This is a really good question, because it has been officially confirmed. I am going to be in California this coming weekend. So, Los Angeles, I'm really excited about it. And I have to get my life together, which is probably why I'm all over the place. But it's an in-person event, and I'm really excited. And yeah, so what do y'all expect from in-person events? Because I kind of feel like everybody has different expectations.
You know, I've actually never been to an in-person like huge book event ever.
I haven't either.
So
So
I think for me as a reader, I just want to be able to meet authors and I want to be able to get their books. You know, for me, of course, it's the books. I want the books, you know, and to meet the authors
that's fair.
and, you know, get whatever trinkets, you know, I can get my hands on book stuff. I want the book stuff. I want all the book stuff and to meet the authors. You know, the panel discussions, all that, that's nice, I guess. When I did Black Readers Con,
I
you
can't.
know, it was sitting and listening to the authors. Yeah, I guess the panel discussions, they're nice. But for me, it's the walking around. I'm buying the books. I'm meeting people. I'm meeting authors. That's what I'm
The
really going
interaction.
for. Yeah, I can watch the panel stuff online. I'm there to
She said, I ain't got to be there for that.
mm-mm, mm-mm.
Okay. That's fair.
I mean,
That's
like when I met you at Resist, like sitting there and listening to you talk was cool. But we do that all the time here. Like it was interacting with you, it was laughing with you, it was like, you know, listening to you talk about your books and just interacting with people and watching them interact with you and your books. Like that was it for me. You know.
That was fun. And also, if you guys haven't seen the meeting where Audra and I, if you haven't seen the video where Audra and I met for the first time, there is a Petersburg vlog on my channel that you can go to. And yeah, it was great. It was fun. She's tiny.
And just like that, the moment is ruined.
I can't get over it.
And the thing was, she was like, "Man, you're tiny," and I was like, "Yeah." And I have on heels. I had on slides with the chunky heel, and I took those off. And she was like, "Wow."
Oh,
She was looking down at me like, "You're really small."
you are. You are. But that's, I mean, I'm not surprised because like a lot of my friends are short just because that, I guess that's the nature of being tall. Most people are shorter than you, but like I've never thought of myself as like exceptionally tall because I'm not exceptionally tall, but I guess whatever. Anywho,
Yes,
moving on. Moving on. Let's see here. La said she expects the author. Portia said have plenty of water and snacks. Hey Portia, how you doing, girl? Haven't seen you in the chat for a while. Hey. And then
Portia.
Bianca said, same, meet the author, get the book signed, get Bookish stuff, maybe get a picture. So yeah, okay. That's what I was thinking too. I'm gonna have books and I'm gonna have merch. I got a new business card. It's really cute. It's an NFC, so I can just do. So I'm excited. I got
What now?
Okay. So cool. But also, I wanted to talk about this because Relive Listen mentioned it in the comments because I haven't been reading them. Y'all know I can't do two things at one time, and I've been talking, so I can't talk and read at the same time. So I've been missing some of it. But I saw the thing with Keith Lee, and I know that's not really book related, but I feel like we should talk about that as well. First of all, Audra, do you know who Keith Lee is?
Going on with this? I mean, I've been seeing like the stuff going on. Apparently, they're mad at him for some reason.
Okay, so first of all, Keith Lee is amazing.
Because
He's so nice. He's so nice. He goes, he pays for the food, he eats it, he rates it, and he usually brings traffic. But the thing is, and I think he's on like tour, and so he's been going to like different places and stuff, eating different food, rating it, and like giving these smaller local black-owned, a lot of them black-owned businesses like traction. But the problem is he gets to Atlanta. And a lot of these places ain't on it. They are not on their P's and Q's. They are not up to snuff. And he's been honest about it because the one that I saw, I know there's been a lot of different videos, but the one that I saw that would just kind of have me like, wow, y'all are really out here in the streets wilding like crazy. So he goes to a restaurant, right? And I guess he's with his family, right? And the way I understood it, right, I could have the details mixed up because this was a little while ago, but his wife goes in to order. There's no one in there. There's only someone there. And it's like, oh, we only do takeout orders. Y'all can't come in and eat. And so they were like, okay. And then they try to do the online order or whatever. and something went left with that, and basically they refused to serve them until he went in and they saw that it was him, and then they were like, oh, we can make you something right now, da 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 da, and the vibe completely changed, and he was like, you know, nah, and he, you know, did what he was nice about it or whatever, you know, and I guess he paid for whatever he was supposed to pay for and left, but he made a video about it or whatever, and then people were like, well, yeah, of course they're going to be different because you're a celebrity and yada 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 yada. But it's just like, no, that's the problem though. The restaurant is like, they have, and then they posted like these rules.
Service. You should treat everybody the same, especially with all these mukbangers out here doing all these videos. If you don't want your shit to get trashed, you need to.
Right, and the thing is, he was trying to promote the thing, and then they came out with these rules talking about, you know, if you have a party of 5 or they don't seat parties of like 5 or 4 or more or whatever, because they don't move tables or whatever. But then they were like, all of the things on the menu, there are no substitutions, so get it like we're gonna make it the way that we make it or whatever. And they were like, there's no waiting or whatever, so like you have to go to your car and take a nap while you wait for your table to be ready. And they were just like really rude, and they were like, oh, but this is supposed to be fun, and people were just like, no, y'all are weird, y'all are really really weird. And Ash pointed out, it's like he called out the stunting culture in Atlanta. Didn't know they would be so vitriolic. Ooh, SAT word.
Vitriolic. Vitriolic, yes.
Vitriolic? Okay, well, look, I had only read the word, ain't never said it, so, yeah.
I'm just trying to help you out with your SAT word.
Vitriolic.
Yes, that means hateful.
Thank you. See, every time I see stuff like that, I think of that poem by, what's her name? Oh, I can't even remember. I've seen it so many times, and it's called Family Show. It's called F I Look Like. And then part of it is she was like, you know, y'all, it's like the difference between us is like you use a thesaurus, like, so you say gargantuan, I say big as shit, you know, same thing. And I've seen it so many times, and it cracks me up every time I see it. The first time I saw it, I was like in the 10th grade, and I was like, yeah, that's exactly the vibe. And we talked about that too. I'm not going to name any names, but there are definitely some people on the internet who like to say gargantuan to sound smart. And I'm like, here's the thing. I read an article once. It was like, if you really understand something, if you're really, I don't say actually smart, but like if you actually smart, you can explain something to somebody in a way that they understand without
break it down to its simplest level.
And you could talk about it
without making them feel dumb and without making yourself look like you more than you are.
Right. And jumping through all the verbal hoops needed to understand. So like, because literally, if I talk to you and I could be like, well, why didn't you just say that? I don't want to talk to you no more. I don't want to talk to you no more because you're making me work too hard to interact with this conversation. And I'm just not about it. It's literally why some books that are classics, I'm like, no, I'm not going to read it. Because like, if I need a translator to figure out what I just read in a book, it's not well written. I don't like it. No. Why didn't you just say that? Well, he's talking about, well, why didn't he just say that? If that's what he meant, why didn't he just say it?
Because, you know, you got some folks that are just intellectual lovers. And they, you know, they got to make themselves sound smarter than they are. But everything that I studied when I was studying my writing craft says, why use, you know, 3 words when one will do. Don't use a fancy word, especially since a lot of folks out here using words real wrong. Just say the shit, okay?
Say it and let it go. I will say this, and this is a writing tip, right? Because I was literally talking to Ben about it this morning. It's just like, if you are writing something, a book, a story, a paper, a blog, whatever, it's like, if you can say it, if you can say it in less words, that means it's too long. Everything that you say should hold meaning. So if you have 3 paragraphs of content, everything in those 3 paragraphs needs to be necessary. It needs to be there. Ain't nobody care. I don't care who you think you are. Don't nobody care. Okay. You want to know why TikTok is popping off? Because, well, not popping off, is why TikTok is big. Why people are pushing shorts and reels. It's the same thing that I said about those rolled oats in the beginning. You don't need 30 minutes to explain to me how to make oatmeal. Okay? Same goes for any type of content. You don't need as much time as you think you do. So it's like if you can condense a 30-minute video into 60 seconds, do that. That means you have 29 minutes of useless information that don't nobody care about. Cut it down. If you have 3 pages of content and you can sum up the whole thing in a sentence, you have 3 pages too long worth of content. That's just how it works. Be intentional with the things that you present. That's my thing. That's my hang up for today. So I hope you guys enjoy my little TED talk. Hopefully you take it to heart. And yeah, we're gonna leave that at that. I'm still a little upset about some things actually, but I'm gonna leave that where it's at. Moving on. We've already kind of covered the problematic books, but I will say this in case you didn't know. St. Martin's Press is the one that's pushing these problematic books. So we just don't support them. Mm-hmm. We don't buy books. At this point, we boycotting them. And for a lot of people, that's not a big boycott because we weren't buying books from them anyway. But like now you can be intentional about not buying books from them. Mm-hmm. Let's see here. Something that I wanted to talk about that I feel like I've had in conversations with other content creators is the fact that with everything that's going on in the world, and I don't know what YouTube marks as like the words that you can't say, but everything that's going on in the promised land, I'll say, it's like that people are being pressured to speak out and to make their stances known. And that's something that I'm very, very much like, yo, y'all need to chill out. Y'all are weird. Because one of the things that I've been noticing is that, especially on TikTok, a lot of people have been pressuring authors to speak about it and to be like, well, if you don't say anything, being silent is also the problem. And it's just kind of like, the thing that makes me kind of upset about that whole conversation is it dismisses the reality that for a lot of people, one, we are authors. This is not our area of expertise for most of us. There might be some, but this is not our area of expertise. A lot of us don't have the information to speak on it. And I feel like it's very counterintuitive to be like, oh, you need to speak out. You have a platform. You need to say something. Use your voice. But then in the same breath, complain about misinformation that's floating around on the internet. Like, homie, you can't have it both ways. If I don't know nothing and you're telling me to talk, you are literally creating the problem. But it's that, but it's also this whole basically like if you don't speak out, if you don't make a post about it, then if you're silent or whatever, or on the wrong side of the conversation, basically, then as an author, you're gonna basically put on this like no buy list or whatever. And it's just like y'all are really being weird and goofy about this. And you know, me and Audra talked about it.
First of all, let's talk about the fact that there's been stuff like this going on in Africa for decades, and ain't nobody speaking out about that. Mm. So we can start there. And second of all, my platform is not political, and I'm not going to get into politics. You want politics? You want people to speak out on it? Go to political platforms, because I'm not doing that here. That's not what this is about. And there's enough people out there talking about it. You don't need my post. Exactly. That's not what I'm here for.
Exactly. And it's the thing is, it's like, also keep in mind, it's like this idea that how can you be posting about other things when this is happening in the world? It's like, for one, let's go back to what Audra just said. This is not the first time it's happened, and it's not even there are other issues that have been going on for much longer that y'all have just chosen not to talk about, and the world has gone on. Like, it's an unfortunate reality, but like life goes on. And then it's also the unfortunate reality, or reality period, as a content creator. If I want to sell my books, if I want to grow my platform, if I want to reach my goals, if I want to continue to live as a full human being, I have to create content. That's literally how my entire job is set up. So I can't just be like, no, until this is solved, until something is done, I'm not going to create content. And I forgot who I was talking to about this, but I feel like it's also very interesting that people are putting pressure on authors and specifically full-time content creators, because it's like, if you are a book reviewer, right? And I'm only talking about book reviewers because that's the realm of the internet that I spend the most time on and where I've seen the most pressure come from, especially on TikTok. But it's just like, if you're a book reviewer, y'all are very clear about saying that, hey, I do this for fun. This is a hobby. This is not how I make my money. Like, I get books sent to me, but this is not a job in that sense.
Right.
For the majority, right? I'm making generalizations. So, but it's also like, okay, if this is your hobby, then yeah, you can afford to take a step back from it. But you're telling people where this is more than a hobby that they also need to take a step back from it. Otherwise, they're not real. They're not serious. And it's just like, okay, but you're not going to just like stop showing up to work because this is happening. You're not going to stop living your life off camera because this is happening. So it's a very weird expectation to put onto other people just because you have the freedom or the ability to do so. And then to be like, oh, you're posting about your book. Didn't you know that they just, did this to a hospital? It's like, okay, but like how is me not posting going to change what happened? I still have to feed myself and my family, and it's not all about me. It might be a selfish mentality, it might be an American mentality. I don't know. I just find it very interesting that people are pressuring people to talk about things and make a statement when it's just like, I don't know, sharing. People overlook the fact that like if you're sharing actual content and information, if you're reposting the videos, if you're adding traction, like there are more than one way to support a cause. And it's just like, it reminds me of that book that you told me about, Audra, the one where they were talking about the boycotts and stuff. And it's like, the book is called like Somebody Has to Bring the Potato Salad. It's like, everybody can't be on the front lines. Everybody can't be speaking at the marches. Everybody can't be the one with the bullhorn. Somebody has to show up. Somebody has to do the legwork. Somebody has to make the potato salad. Somebody got to bail somebody out of jail. There are multiple roles to play, and everybody can't play the same role. So just because you're doing one thing doesn't mean the things that other people are doing are less important or less relevant. But that's
and that's also, the thing where people are saying, oh, well, you shouldn't be if you shouldn't be posting while this is happening. Okay, do you still go to the grocery store? Do you still go to the bank? Do you still go to get gas station? Do you still go to your job every day?
You still go to your job?
You don't not go to your job every day, right? Because you're like, well, I'm sitting in solidarity. You would lose your job. Your boss would be like, yeah, that's nice, but if you're not in here tomorrow, your job is gone. Well, you have to understand that for some people like Chelsea, and other authors out here, this is their full-time job. So if they don't work, they don't make money. So sitting there telling them that they shouldn't post, that they should take a break from it. Well, okay, then you stroke me a check for my missed wages, and I'll gladly sit home. Otherwise, I still have to post. The world still is going on, and that doesn't make me callous. That doesn't make me not caring. It's just the reality of the situation.
Exactly. Exactly. And it's just the vibe that like, oh, you have to do it now. And it's like if I do it now and I wasn't doing it before, doesn't that just make me a hypocrite? Because this isn't new. So it's just kind of like
Exactly.
Anywho. But Vina pointed out, it's like, I also find it weird that people who are going out of their way to keep talking about how they're not going to speak on it. It's also a privilege to be able to tune things out. But can we also talk about the fact that you making a post about not speaking about it is still you making a post and looking for engagement?
Exactly.
That you're still doing it.
And a lot of people are doing just that. They're making the post just for the engagement, not because they care. They're looking at somebody else's post, taking what they said, putting their own spin on it, and then posting. And guaranteed, if you had a deep talk with them about it, a lot of these folks out here fronting don't even know what the hell is going on.
No.
Okay? So, miss me with all that.
Truly, because I know I made a post, like a text post on TikTok, just to make it clear, like, no, I'm not about this, but also, like, I still have to make content. So it is what it is. Let's see here. I know we had another question from the chat. This one's from Ash, and it said, I missed one of the chats, so y'all may have spoken about this, but Scholastics Apology. We did not talk about it. I know we talked about it in the after chat in the Discord server, but I don't think we talked about it on live. Honestly, so if for those of you coming in, and this is our last topic before we shift over before we shift over to the after chat. So if you're not a part of it, now is the time to go ahead, sign up. $5 gets you in, and you can join the conversations that we have when we're not on camera. That being said, Scholastic, if you guys aren't caught up, basically they decided they were going to be like, oh, we're going to make diversity an option. So if the schools don't want diverse books, we're not going to include them, right? So obviously that went about as you would imagine it to go. People were calling them out, dragging them through the streets. And then they issued an apology, and they were like, oh, we realize now that was not the move, so we're going to stand with the authors and the people demanding diversity, yada, yada, yada. Honestly, it was the kind of apology that you would expect from a non-skinfolk person who got caught and dragged for filth, the kind of apology you would expect. And so now it's kind of like... Now it's kind of like, for me, I'm just at a point where I feel like the Monique meme is like, well, I would like to see it. I would like to see you follow through with what you said that you were going to do. I want to see how this is going to play out, because here's the thing. The problem with Scholastic, the problem with a lot of publishing, the problem with a lot of industries is that when you have really big companies, they can get away with a lot and do the bare minimum and nothing is going to change. So I feel like with this, Audra brought it up in one of the previous chats, so I know the link is still there, but there is a company that's trying to do an alternative to Scholastic, and it's just like, I would like to see more competition to get in these schools. I would like to see it, because either that, or I want the opposite to also be true. I want schools that are in inner cities that cater to a mostly Black population to have the option to not have white authors brought into the Scholastic Book Fair. I want the same energy reciprocated, tit for tat. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe it's the Libra mean, the scales. I don't know. But like, if that's what you're going to do, you have to see it all the way through. You got to be consistent with it. But I just would like to see how this is going to play out, because it's not going to play out well. I don't see that. I don't foresee it actually working. I see it being a problem, but we'll see. And then also Vina pointed out that the Scholastic catalog for next year isn't even that diverse. And I remember when all this happened, like on social media, a lot of authors who write children's books were like, it's difficult enough as it is just getting published by Scholastic, but then to get that far and them not push your books, them not tell people about the book, and then to have your book pulled from the book fair, which is where most children's books are sold, apparently. That's really messed up. That's really messed up on a lot of levels. Let's see here. I would support a Black company getting into those city schools. I would too. I would support a Black company doing anything and doing it well, Doing it well.
That's the caveat. Yep.
Doing it well and professionally, because let me say this, and I'm going to leave it at this, because it's 11 o'clock and we're about to move over to the after chat. I don't care if you black, white, purple, green, blue with polka dots. If you rude to me, I'm not supporting you, and I'm going to tell everybody I know not to support you, because the way your personality as a business owner matters more than what you offer sometimes. Y'all, like, some people really need to understand that there's a reason why for the longest the advice has always been, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And how you get to know people is by having a decent personality. Anywho, I'm gonna let that go. But yeah, there are a lot of business owners, especially in this age of, oh, just go start an LLC. Go start an LLC. First of all, that's terrible advice. If you don't want to run a business, it takes a lot of work to run a business. Even the ones that are passive income takes work. First of all. Second of all, LLCs are expensive. Don't let them fool you into thinking that, oh, you just have to pay for it one time. That's not how it works. That's not how it's set up.
Nope.
Don't.
I gotta pay a $300 fee every year to Maryland for my LLC. Otherwise, I'm not in good standing. So yeah, it's not a one-time thing.
Yeah, and then you got to file articles of organization, and then you have to keep up with your taxes. It's a whole thing. Don't let them little TikToks and then people who don't know nothing talk you into doing something you ain't got no business doing. But that being said, it is 11 o'clock, so y'all know what time it is. We're about to move over to the after chat. If you would like to join us, then sign up for the Patreon at patreon.com/written in melanin. It is down at the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. Join us. You'll be supporting the Melanin Library. You'll be supporting Written in Melanin. You'll be supporting Black authors. And you will get access to all of the fun stuff that I post on the Patreon, as well as the after chat where the conversation continues. We talk all week long in between these shows, you guys. So make sure that you're in the conversation. There are also things coming up next year that I have in the pipeline. If you like to vote on things as well in the polls and stuff on Patreon, that's how you get in. So if you haven't already, click all the links down in the description box below. You can get to Audra's podcast. You can get to my books. You can get to the books that we did today. You can get to the specific video with Sister Samurai that came out today, I believe, with Audra. Yep. There are links to all the things down below, so make sure you click on them, go through them, and yeah, that is it. Thank you guys for being here. This is a reminder that I will be in California this week. So if you're in the Los Angeles area or can get there, please come by, see me. I would love to meet you guys in person. 2, this is the second to last Melanin Chat. So our next Melanin Chat, episode 13, is going to be our last Melanin Chat for the season, you guys. After that one, we are taking the month of December off, and we will be back in January. So make sure that you do not miss it if you want to catch us live. And yeah.
We should do a Christmas party or something.
No. So, thank you guys so much for being here. And until next time, I hope your days are lovely and your books are interesting. Bye, guys.
Wait, you just...